Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea and welcome back to another best of 5. Today we have spawning as the blue Protoss player playing for Team Dragon Phoenix Gaming, herO, whose probe we're following. And over here, the Overlord that we're seeing right now belongs to Alpha Axis Ragnarok. Beautiful best of 5 that we have over here. I was wondering what that noise was every time I zoomed in. I think it might be this thing. Look at that! You can actually hear it when it makes noise. I never was aware of that, and I never want to hear it again, so we'll turn on the music right away. There's no hatchery yet, at least not that I'm seeing. Oh, hatchery is being built here over at the third base location. Well, herO went for that early block as he usually does with his initial probe. He's going to get the block off as well. Spawning pool as well as an extractor on the way right now. It's going to be a very standard opener. herO, however, is not going for a standard opener. This is quite interesting. Cybernetic score before anything else. This is a build that is very common in Protoss versus Terran, and thus I'm very familiar with it as well. It, however, is not quite as common in this matchup. It is extremely uncommon in this matchup, and I'm going to go over the advantages and disadvantages of the different build orders without really trying to put any, really real value judgment to it. So the main advantage of this over a Nexus before core is that you get a quicker first unit out of your gateway. You can also get a faster warp gate. So in the case of some type of early gate pressure with multiple gateways, this tends to be a build order that can actually be quite good. Even in the case of a Twilight Council, if you want a faster warp gate, this gets in, well, between 10 and 11 second faster warp gate, and also a 10 to 11 second faster first unit. If you're planning on chrono boosting 2 adepts out, this is a very viable opener to play. It, however, is not quite as common to go into Stargate with this, and that is because of the following reason. Because the build order has changed a little bit. You get the core before the Nexus, and in order to use that core for a quick unit, you need to get your second pylon before your second assimilator. Now this means that your second assimilator is delayed compared to what it usually is. Delayed assimilator means indeed delayed gas. Delayed gas means delayed Stargate, and delayed Stargate means delayed Stargate units. So we saw this Stargate go down at 227. That is a decent timing for a Stargate from a core before Nexus, but it's still a solid 10, maybe even 12 seconds slower than you usually would see it with a Nexus before core. On top of that, the core before Nexus also has a later Nexus, and thus you're cutting about, I think it's one entire worker out of your build order that otherwise you would have. Your chrono boost also is a little bit delayed. So yeah, the main advantages are going to be faster initial to adepts. The main disadvantage is going to be slightly less eco, less gas, and just slightly less minerals as well. So you're basically trading. It's a trade-off. You get a little more aggression, and you give up a bit of money. And that's usually how most of these trade-offs actually end up working. We also see a bigger response here coming out of Ragnarok as a result. Ooh, it's going to actually finish this double shade. So 12 links were built. At the same time, still 4 of these drones are going to get taken out. Great start here for herO, you just have to say it. Means that this Oracle might also be capable of dealing a little bit of damage. It's a lot of links that just got built there. And if you build this many links, your goal often is to stop the adepts from dealing any damage whatsoever in general. And, well, let's just say that Ragnarok didn't quite succeed in that. Usually, if 2 adepts kill more than 3 workers, it is a worthwhile trade for the Protoss player. If they kill 3, it's about even, and if they kill less than 3, it's not good. These links, however, if they get some damage off, if they manage to get a cancel on this Nexus, for example, all of a sudden, none of this was really worth it for herO, and Ragnarok finds himself in a pretty decent position. Oracle's going to move in, go for a stasis ward. At the same time, the second Oracle's on the far left side, waiting for his moment to shine. And as this stasis, well, it doesn't completely get cancelled, but kind of gets taken out. Ooh, we see a fake stasis and Ragnarok responding, perhaps a little bit stressed out after seeing that stasis in the main. It's like, okay, I see an Oracle, almost has 50 energy, probably is going to stasis. And herO also was making that movement. So, yeah, interesting little start here. Twilight Council with a Forge as a follow-up. 4 gases out as well. Makes sense, of course, if your third base gets cancelled. You have a little bit of money left over. Might as well take these gases. Get that Twilight Council, get that Forge going as well. Nexus is now on the way, but it is going to be delayed by, well, almost a solid 45 to 50 seconds compared to what we usually see, even with a core before Nexus type of opener. Second Spore is getting built at the third base. Second Spore carries a similar cost of a Queen. And in my mind, feels worse than a Queen in many scenarios. Defensively, I think a Queen is more useful, especially if you have good Overlord spread. But I guess this is where we're really reaching the main problem here for Ragnarok. What is this? He's stacking 6 Overlords on the same little location without there being a single Void Ray out. Now, if there wasn't a Void Ray on the map, I would sympathize with it. I'd say, okay, that makes sense, you know. You don't want to have your Overlords on the map if there's a Void Ray, but there is no Void Ray. And these Overlords are just vital in getting vision here. I'm kind of surprised to see this in a high-level game. Ragnarok is not one of the players that is known for being extremely solid and consistent in the early game, but this does disappoint me just a little bit. I mean, it is a free tool for vision, which is just not being used. At the same time, herO is starting to move out with 4 sentries. This is a ragtag army of Protoss. What is this? This is the type of army that you walk on the map with. If you try to copy herO, you lose it to a 25 links around or something like that. Like, this does not feel like a viable move out, but herO makes it a viable move out. He's going to get a cancel here over on that fourth base while getting his own fourth base at the same time. There's no extra gases being created yet on the side of the Korean Protoss player. So maybe another Oracle will get a kill. Yep, we'll get a kill on a drone. So far, not too many drone kills. 8 workers killed. 4 of those were from the initial 2 Adept. So these triple Oracles have only killed 4 workers total. But they have done a good job indirectly, I guess, denying the creep. Because there's literally no creep tumors. There's 9 creep tumors, 7 minutes and 15 seconds into the game. And I honestly believe that Ragnarok is just really struggling right here. He's getting a Spire as well, as herO is reinforcing this position with more and more Stalkers. And soon will most likely try to engage into this. Curious to see how that will actually end up here for Ragnarok. Charge on the way, +2 as well. Could possibly get a second Forge too. Here comes the snipe on that hatchery once again. It means that the forward base gets cancelled for a second time. We have... Ooh, that stasis did not get triggered there. Ragnarok is aware of there being a stasis. Good vision. Good eyes as well. Ooh, is he using the DVA voice? I think so. Never really liked that one. I found a very annoying voice to listen to. I know a lot of the Koreans like it though. They use the English DVA voice. It's for the people that don't know, I think it's an Overwatch character. Yeah. I was gonna say Valorant, but Valorant isn't a franchise of Blizzard, so that wouldn't, or franchise isn't an IP of Blizzard, a franchise. Just me. Mutas are going to be created. We already have 4, 6 more on the way, but hey, this is just poor eco right now for Ragnarok all around. He's going to get these mutas across the map. The question is, while this is happening, will he be capable of surviving? There's a crap ton of zealots making their way across the map right now. There's 4 sentries with this as well. They're going to find some mutas. Sentries with Guardian Shield honestly do quite well against these mutas. Zealots are going to start moving in. I mean, there's no roaches in this army. There's no carapace upgrades either. So these zealots are going to absolutely wreck these links. Well, the roach support actually is doing a decent job, I have to admit. At the same time, though, the left side is going completely unchecked. Hatchery gets killed, or well, cancelled or killed. I'm not quite sure what ended up happening there. Seems like it was a cancel. Well, it wouldn't show up in the units lost, right? It's a building, not a... Is there a tab that is buildings lost? No. That just made the replay go back. I was like, what happens if I press Shift and B? Oh. Figure that out real fast. Could have edited it out, but... Sometimes your failures need to be shown to the world, you know? You can't always hide all of your failures. 4 oracles are out right now. We have a single phoenix as well, a couple of cannons on the way. Of course, these mutas have been spotted already. They're going to be largely useless. A move out across the map is going to be pointless as well because there's so many oracles here. I just believe that herO is winning this so darn hard. I mean, yeah, that last fight perhaps wasn't entirely brilliant. Ooh, what's that recall? Was there more stalkers? Okay, that's kind of odd. Not a huge fan of that move, but should be fine. 184 supply against 143 once again. There's absolutely 0 creep. There's still no fort base over here. We now have armor on the way already for herO. was looking to try and kill some of these muralisks. At the same time, oracles are going to look for the army. He realizes that it's most likely moving out. I mean, all of these ravagers are just going to get taken out if Ragnarok decides to continue attacking. I think this is a mistake. I think this is a massive error of judgment. You're going to lose 3-4 of these ravagers before they even get to the other side of the map. Big warpins are happening at the same time as well. The Baneling count is simply not high enough. I guess there's nothing else here that Ragnarok can do. He just needs to attack at this point. But I mean, this army is just not going to cut it. There's a super battery available. Phoenixes are moving in. There's still one oracle alive. The micro out of herO is not brilliant, but the concave is. These buildings are definitely helping out. They're kind of sprawled around. Blink back, yep. Could also have been a blink forward here, honestly, as these mutas are going to get taken out by the Phoenix. I mean, there's just nothing here for Ragnarok. Ragnarok lost like 50 supply, killed 4 stalkers. 5th base on the way already for herO. We have 67 workers against 71. 5 more ravagers coming out, but just pure ravager doesn't actually trade that well against an army like this. You can't catch the stalker with the biles. Yeah, GG gets caught as herO wins game number 1. Alright, here we are in our second game of this best of 5, and this time we have Ragnarok opening up with a pool first. And he's going to trick herO here. Look at this. Oh, you can't trick herO, my friend. Dude, herO knows. herO knows. What is the plan here, Ragnarok? You're gonna move back? But herO also knows. You can't trick this man. He is untrickable. Look at this. No, wait. He's actually gonna get tricked. Never mind. Not untrickable. Okay, this is a really late hatchery, though. That's like a float of 120 minerals after playing pool first into gas. He almost could have started the queen before the hatch if that pool had finished a little bit earlier. herO, as a result, is going to be playing... Wait, 2 gate? No, that can't be right. Oh, he thought it was going to be a proxy hatch. Ragnarok's opener was so bad that herO couldn't believe that this was his first hatchery. I love it when this type of stuff happens. Okay, this opener made no sense. I love it, but it made no sense. I am really curious what Ragnarok's plan was. Like, Ragnarok is a smart player. He had something planned here. It completely didn't work out. I think he just wanted to hide the drone and then build the hatchery after herO goes in the main base to start harassing the mineral patches. But I believe that herO realized what was going on, so he chased the drone and then Ragnarok just looked like a complete fool. Well, in reality, I'm sure that the plan actually made some sense. At the end of the day, though, herO decided to play 2-gate with a Zealot, which is a very mediocre response to the build that Ragnarok actually is playing. And Ragnarok is now building 6 links because he is the one that is afraid. So both players were so afraid that they're now slightly overreacting. I think at the end of the day, we're actually going to be entering a somewhat even game. This is very chaotic. A very, very chaotic start. Just have to admit it. But I think these usually produce very fun games. Chaotic start. And herO is very good at these chaotic starts as well. So is Ragnarok. Both of them kind of wild players that are a little bit crazy. Overlord makes its way on the map. Gonna get a little bit of spotting going as well. Hatchery gets built on the 3rd base. These 2 adepts are shading in towards the main. Twilight Council is going to be the follow-up. Yeah, that's not going to finish. I mean, there's freaking millions of links. When I say millions, I mean there's 10. But it feels like it's a lot. 4 adepts are out. It's going to move across the map with these 4. Robo as well as a follow-up. You don't have a stalker. That means that this OV is going to see the Twilight Council. Honestly, might even see the robotics facility as well. Another very important scout here is the lack of 3 workers in the gas. Oh my god. That voice is actually triggering me. I just get angry hearing it. Can't ever be in Ragnarok's vision anymore. Yeah, just showing the fact that you're not mining fully in gas means it's not going to be capable of being DT. It can't be some type of disruptor. It's really difficult for this to be a disruptor drop follow-up. You need to definitely push back into gas ASAP because you're just lacking the gas. And if you build a stalker, that's 50 gas down the drain, my friend. It's going to be tricky. That's for sure. We have 2 more gates on the way. Our Robo has finished up as well. So these adepts start moving to a safe location here in between the Cybercore and the gateway. Ragnarok, please do not commit here. This is not a good time to commit. I love that this Overlord's going back in. What I love even more is that herO decided to not actually keep his Stalker on the edge. He's like, hey, I want to trick this Overlord into a position where I can kill it with this Stalker. Now herO's going to go in. I'm not so sure if he's going to be capable of doing it, but I think he might just barely be able to. Well, it's not going to supply block Ragnarok, because he has 82 supply available currently already. So he pre-prepared, yeah, he really just prepared. Pre-prepared. Preparing for the preparation. He prepared for the preparation that he was going to lose his Overlord. He's being double prepared. Pre-prepared. Yeah, a couple of roaches are being pushed out. I don't think this should be a finish. It definitely shouldn't have been a finish. I'm glad that herO realized that, recognized that. 12 adepts are out right now, are going to start shading in towards the natural, perhaps. A couple of queens here, maybe going to be enough. Lynx will be in position as well. Single Ravager is actually a good call. I don't think this should be a finish. It is going to be a finish. Not a good surround, though, on all of these adepts. The adepts managed to kind of move away here. This is some weird movement with this Ling Ravager. It's just going to be pure roaches. Oh, another Warping in the main base. This should not be a finish. No, it should not be. Good preemptive Ravager Bow. Here come the Lynx down right now. 4 drones have gone down so far. Drones should be built already at this point again. So we have a 4 more Adept Warping on the low ground. I love the way that Ragnarok is dealing with this. These 4 drone losses, I can forgive him for it. He's already sending these Lynx in towards the main base. Ravagers are going there as well. Wouldn't mind if 1 or 2 queens are there. We still have 1 queen there. We actually only have 4 queens remaining. That's not the highest amount of queens that I've seen in my entire life, but it's probably going to be fine. Right now you don't want to be building any extra units, just purely be pushing out drone after drone after drone. Maybe add 1 or 2 queens if you feel afraid of a potential follow-up push, but because you have so many roaches already, you actually have a pretty decent panic response as well if you get caught droning too hard. If you get caught droning too hard, you just morph 5-6 Ravagers immediately and you'll be fine. You can kind of, you know, add a couple of drones in there, just queens, and then as a panic response you can always build the Ravagers. But what you need to do right now is more drones, more drones. Huge supply block though here for Ragnarok, who was building 6 Overlords at the same time. Once again, rather poor spread actually. Oh my god. Oh god, I hate that voice. You gotta be kidding me. I'd actually be going crazy if I would have to hear that 12 hours a day playing freaking StarCraft 2. Like, listening to the sounds of Zerg is bad enough already with the constant... Then having to listen to a DVA announcer telling you that you're supply blocked for the 50th time in a row. I'm not quite sure how long I'd survive doing that. Like at that point I'd probably already be playing League of Legends or something like that. There's no shot I'd stick with StarCraft if this was my life. Ragnarok is in a good position here. 49 works. I don't like that he's not droning up any further. He's going for a push. Often these pushes don't really work, because the follow-up is either going to be Immortals with Sentries or Disruptors, and in this case it's going to be Immortals with Sentries and Disruptors. So yeah, Ragnarok realizes that after building like 20 Lynx and 5 more Roaches, or well, actually like 8 more Roaches, he says to himself, well, maybe droning up more is actually the answer. He already could have been at like, well, practically 66 workers, 4th base on the way, maybe even going up to 75 at this point. And then you can start thinking about doing some type of 1-1 timing attack, which on Berlingrad, after having this sick opener, yeah, it definitely would work. You can take out these rocks, absolutely blast anything that herO has. There's no chance that he would have held a good +1 timing attack. Whether that's with the range or with the melee wouldn't have really mattered. Love the position here on the Spore, by the way. Good control on those drones, pulling them away in time. The mini-map vision that Ragnarok has and the response to the stuff that's happening on the mini-map is extraordinary. The weird thing is that despite this extremely good vision on the mini-map, he's not actually focusing so much on having vision on the map. It's kind of weird if one of your strengths is just how quick you are to responding to things, is that you're not really utilizing that strength too much, or at least that's what it feels like to me. Maybe he believes that he has very different strength. He's also quite good mechanically. I do have to admit that. He's quite fast. Good control in the fights often as well. Like, I really do appreciate all of that. Preemptive pull again with those drones. I'm not entirely sure if that was necessary if you have such a large army chasing. Oh my god. Oh! 11 drones down the drain. That's more than 10, but less than 12. And that's a fact. 12 more drones get built immediately. Now I'm not so sure if you can still go on with a +1 timing attack, or the plan is just to go up to like 81, 82 workers, go up to that hive, try to get some Vipers out eventually, but the game just becomes a lot more difficult at this point. That's the reality of things. Just kind of have to appreciate that as well. Despite his quick responses, I feel like the anticipation that Ragnarok has to these situations often isn't correct. Like chasing it all the way into nothingness makes no sense. I much rather see intelligent queen movement, or like having like a couple of... What is this? Having like a couple of roaches in the main base. Was he trying to hide banelings in the main? That doesn't work, mate. You got spotted. You absolutely got spotted. Yeah, well, I don't think you need to pull these drones away like this if you're just in position already. He almost feels like he's kind of chasing this prism like an AI, you know? It's kind of odd to see. Well, this disruptor drop did way more damage than it ever should have. Ragnarok still has pretty decent supply and should really start heading out on the map right now if he wants to deal some damage. I mean, he stopped building workers about a minute and a half ago. At some point you're going to need to hit your timing. There's a lot of banelings out here though. There's actually a crap ton of banelings out here. Okay, here we go. 4 more drones get taken out, and this disruptor is paid for himself multiple times. Fourth base on the way. It's funny that despite all of this, hero supply still is down like 30. Feels like hero's been absolutely destroying Ragnarok for the past 6 minutes. But his early game was so bad that it doesn't really seem to matter too much. I do believe that with multiple disruptors... Oh my god, that was another huge shot. How many kills do we have? We have 40 kills on this disruptor. Holy crap, that is not okay. That is just not okay. 40 kills. A couple of force fields are going down right now. Biles will start raining down as well. I think our king disruptor just fell. Makes me sad to see. Good splitter on these Immortal and Colossi. There's so many important robo units. It feels like Ragnarok is still breaking through though. Takes out 13 workers here. +2 is on the way. We have 12 more roaches on the way. Okay, wants to transition here into a more roach-centric army. He's just in a bad spot. There's too many Immortals. There's 5 Immortals. There's 3 Colossi. There's 15 Stalkers. Single Disruptor is also going to help a lot against these Ravagers. We see Charge about to finish up. More Stalkers being warped in. Yeah, I mean, with +2 finishing soon as well, I actually believe that herO just has this game. Good enough defense after just completely toying with Ragnarok, at least. That's what it felt like. A couple of Biles are going to hit in a big way on these Immortals, but there's still 5 Immortals alive. There's 3 Colossi here, and this is a very primitive army out of Ragnarok. Banelings are going to connect with a large portion of the gate units. Will also deal a fair chunk of damage to these Immortals, but it's not going to be enough. As Ragnarok taps out for a second time in a row, and that makes the score 2-0 in favor of herO. 0, herO. We're here in game number 3, and this time around we're going to see, for the 3rd time in a row, a potential hatch block. I'm actually curious if herO is going to be capable of blocking this, because this map is rather large, and he just sent a single probe. He's really fast. I think if you play 15 hatch against herO, you literally always get your hatchery down. Okay, what? He sent it back. Well, even with a 16 hatch, apparently you get it down. Kind of wild. Well, that is indeed kind of wild. Alright, what do we have here? A little bit of harassment going down. Ragnarok. First time, actually with a somewhat decent opener. At the start of this game, I was just laughing because I was thinking back. I was like, what happened in the early game of Berlingrad again? But then I went back to the very start, and I kind of forgot about it already. How bad the actual first minute and a half were for Ragnarok, and then how bad minutes 4 till 6 were for herO. It's actually hilarious how kind of inefficient both of these early games were. You get really intense and kind of fun games. At least in my opinion, they're fun. Or maybe you guys think they suck. It's also allowed, of course. A difference of opinion. Oh yeah, he pulls 4 works into gas. Now, this is a new move that I haven't seen yet. This is this is not good. I don't know what this is. He stood there for 4 entire trips, just with an extra worker. Man, this is a wild series so far. Holy crap, I'm loving this. I want more games like this. The problem with European games is often that they're so, you know, they all play by the book and they're trying to be so cool with their little, you know, with their efficiency. And man, Koreans, they just do what feels good. They want a 4th worker in their gas, pull a 4th worker in the gas. You want to get your queen before your hatchery? No problem, get the queen before the natural hatchery. Boom, just like that. You build 45 links and then drones again and then more links. Also allowed. Like, just way freer. And it feels like the improvisation, it confuses opponents. It makes the games kind of chaotic. They really thrive in this chaos. Stupid Europeans, they don't thrive in anything. Idiots. Europeans, of course. All of them. Stargate is going to be built here. And we have a late warp gate. Yeah, okay, I'm just making sure. I was like, well, is this actually a late warp gate? Yeah, it's a warp gate after the Stargate. So Ragnarok should be aware that it's not going to be a Twilight Council opener, right? This is most likely going to be Stargate. It's technically possible that this is a robotics facility opener, but because robotics facility openers are genuinely really bad, you can kind of scratch those off as well. You can say, hey, that's not one. This does not look like a wall. And it's not a wall, I think. Would I put my life on the line and say this is not a wall? No. I would not do that. It feels like it's not a wall. There's 16 links on the way. I guess we're going to find out. God, this is exciting. I love it when my theories get tested immediately. Okay, here we go. Moving over to the third base. I am really curious what's going to happen here. Look at these links moving to the side. God, this is exciting. Queen's moving out. He's just going to follow this up with drones. This is not a... This is 20 link. It's a link flood pressure. This is the type of stuff you hear No Regret talk about. This is just to cancel the third base. My microphone didn't stop working. I'm just confused. Okay, now we're gonna see. No, it's a wall. Phew. Thank God I didn't bet my life there. I'm still confused. He just built a crap ton of links. He got like 10 drones to cancel a third base and delay it by about 20 seconds. This is a little bit if you were having a boxing match and you would cut off your own head to throw it at your opponent. First of all, that's an illegal move in boxing. And second of all, you're gonna bleed out. And throwing your head probably doesn't deal that much damage. Well, actually, a head is pretty heavy. I don't actually know how they measure the weight of a head, but I recall one time hearing something about people putting their head in a bathtub and then seeing how much water gets displaced. And then if you're an uber nerd and you know some numbers on the water, you can actually figure out how heavy your head is. I obviously wouldn't be capable of doing that. I dropped physics and math, or well, any math that is important. I dropped it when I was like 14. So if you give me a bathtub, you told me to put my head in there, there's a bigger chance that I drown than that I figure out the weight of my head. This is a very wild game so far. I am just extremely confused currently. I mean, Ragnarok's not even in that bad of a position, I guess. He's up some workers. He hasn't taken that much damage against these oracles. Just 10, well, actually 10 work kills is a lot. Who am I kidding? 9 more drones are on the way. We have charge. Ooh. I really like this build. This is kind of a meta build out of herO. And what it does is a lot of Zerg players have kind of resorted to playing +1 links against herO's openers. The reason they do that is because +1 links... Did he just kill a... Oh yeah, I'm gonna go back here. Did he just kill an oracle? Hey, look at this. This entire series is so stupid. Yeah, I love this game. This was one of the biggest stages I've seen in my life. Did get the oracle though. Not even entirely sure if this was worth it. Now come the zealots as well, moving in. Drones are back to mining. I was in the middle of an explanation about why this build is pretty smart. Right, because a lot of Zergs open up with +1 Ling and skip the Roaches or even the Roach Warren. Then if you show up with freaking 20 Zealots, and especially if you have +1 on them as well, you're going to have a great trade against all of the Links, Oracles above it, and very often you can just straight up win the game. It's kind of what happened here, although Ragnarok didn't even get fast +1. He just decided to not build any Roaches defensively. And as a result is, well, it's not taking an infinite amount of damage. If this fort base stays alive, this actually was kind of okay for Ragnarok. Cleared a bunch of gateway units. I wish that he was already droning up though. I do not believe that these extra 10 links, these 7 roaches were completely necessary. Could have already been up to like 75 workers or so. And now he needs to wait for the next larva inject to finish up before that happens. Might also be actually continuing unit production here. I think that's a mistake. I genuinely believe that to be a mistake. 4 more overlords on the way because he's moving into a supply block. 4 queens at a time as well. How many queens do we have? We have 2 queens only. Well, then 4 queens is just barely enough. 8 overlords on the way. 9. 10. 11. Wait, that's not a countdown. It's a count up. You got up to 10 there, by the way. He'll never be supply blocked again. He's going to be... I think he'll have maximum capacity at this point. Yeah, he will. Fantastic to see. The Korean E-Laser. Although E-Laser has fixed his problems. He doesn't really do this anymore. It used to be the E-Laser overlords where you'd have 90 supply and then 200 supply capacity. These drones are going to get taken out if herO's paying attention. Luckily, he's not paying attention. Luckily for Ragnarok. That means we might get to enjoy another game in this series. This has been a hilarious series so far. I just love it. I absolutely love it. You look at a game like this and you think to yourself, man, maybe I could beat those guys. Then you play against Ragnarok, you don't even survive till the 7-minute mark. It's actually crazy. Like, they're so chaotic. Both of these players are extremely chaotic. It's super difficult to play against. It doesn't really show when both of them are playing against one another, because both of them are trying to create their own chaos. This is actually been my favorite series of the year. I know no one will think back of Ragnarok versus herO best of 5 as a series of the year, but this will be my series of the year. This is the sickest games that I've seen in my life. We have a 7 more Zealot Warp in, 13 Banes are being morphed in. Right now they're going to connect with these Zealots as well. It's not a fight that herO can take. It really is not a fight that herO can take. Prism is going to pick up some of these Zealots. We have nothing on the right side. We have a bunch of... I love this Baneling run by. Look at that movement as well. Just sneaking in... Oh no. Sneaking in between everything. Literally hear the DVI voice 50 times at the same time. Okay, this game is over. Congratulations, Ragnarok. You have now won the game. There was some really sweet movement though there. Just a good fight as well. Oh, there is a big Zealot Warp in the main base actually. That is kind of dangerous. Queens are moving in. Look at that control on the units. Just moving them to the very far right. Oh, this ramp needs to move through. It's kind of a funnel at this point. A couple more Zealots moving in. Prism has been taken out, I believe. Yep, that is nice. That means there's not going to be any more reinforcements. Am I incorrect? Yes, I'm incorrect. It's just over here in the dead space. Zealots get recalled as well. herO's back up to 65 workers. And is getting double disruptors. +2 melee on the way. It's hard to imagine a world where herO doesn't get blasted in the next push, honestly. Oracles are largely out of energy, especially after that revelation. There's like literally 12... There's like 15 energy available to start killing units right now. That's not enough, usually. That really is just not enough. I'd love for this support to move a bit towards the bottom side. I just absolutely would love that. Zealots are going to get picked up here. 4 Zealots stay alive. 1 Zealot gets Kerrigan behind. Will turn into the Zerg overmind, hive mind, whatever you call that. Good lord, I'm so bad with the lore. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Almost got it. 1 more shot on the Spore and it would have been fine. Wasn't quite fine though. I do like that the Spore got moved. I think that was a correct call. I'm glad that Ragnarok listened to that. Okay, 130 supply against 190. This is fantastic. This army is actually fantastic. Ooh, if these Banelings die though, that could be pretty big. Because these Banelings are really the... He just lost like 15 Banelings to 2 Zealots. That's not good. Because the Banelings are the meat and potatoes of this push. Or maybe the Roaches are the meat and potatoes and the Banelings are the meat? The spices? I'm not quite sure what I would call them. This was a horrific fight as well, by the way, for Ragnarok. It's going to land some of these biles on the Oracles, which is also odd to see. This actually was a good fight for herO. loses 10 workers, has a 5th base on the way though. Worker count's extremely low for Ragnarok. Losing these 20 banelings, 15 to 20 banelings, kind of for free to these zealots, really weakened this push. And whenever you make a push like this, you really need to make sure to kill at least all the workers at the base you're attacking. But the banelings didn't even get there, and that's kind of the advantage of having +2, is that the moment the Protoss moves away from their base, they're going to lose every single worker. If that doesn't happen, all of a sudden, herO has a good eco and has a pretty decently sized army as well. I can't believe how this game turned around like that. Disruptors are shooting their shots. Ooh, lots of Ravagers going down right now. Zealots moving in. 7 drones have been taken out. Here comes a Baneling run by on the other side, and a lot of probes are getting destroyed. Big Stalker warp in at home will deny these Banelings any more explosive pleasure, as they will get taken out, will get pushed back towards his right side. There's still 4 probes hiding in the corner, hoping that these Banelings won't find them. Good lord, TVA is driving me nuts already. Blink forward here out of herO. herO 83 armor supply against 30. 2-1 upgrades against just merely +2. And I think Ragnarok has actually lost the series 3-0. What a fantastic game. What a brilliant series this has been. I don't think I've had this much fun in a best of 5 that ended in a 3-0 in a very long time. This was a treat to watch. I hope all of you enjoyed it just as much as I did. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.